Ever wondered why football players often get severe muscle injuries? Is it just bad luck, or is there a science behind it? Picture this. A footballer, mid-match, suddenly pulls up, clutching their leg. A grimace of pain etched on their face. They're helped off the pitch. It's a sight that's all too familiar, and it's predominantly due to muscle injuries. These injuries often occur without any contact during high-intensity activities like running, stretching, or kicking. Intriguingly, they often strike in the later stages of each half of the game, and more commonly in the second half. The question is, what's the science behind this? What are the mechanisms and situational patterns that lead to these injuries? That's exactly what a recent study aimed to explore, focusing on severe lower limb muscle injuries in professional male football players. So, let's dive into the research and unravel the mystery behind these injuries. To comprehend the nature of these injuries, researchers turned to the Italian First Division male football matches. Over the course of 3 seasons, from 2018 to 2021, they identified players who experienced severe lower limb muscle injuries. The severity here is defined as injuries that kept players off the field for more than 28 days. Once these instances were identified, the researchers obtained video footage of the injuries. They then used a standardized checklist to categorize the mechanism of injury and the situational patterns leading to it. To ensure accuracy, this process was carried out independently by 3 different raters. In addition to this, they also examined the epidemiology of the injuries, including the timing of the injuries within the match and the location of the injuries on the pitch. They hope to identify any patterns that might explain why these injuries occur. With the stage set, let's delve into the results captured by the researchers. The results of the study were illuminating, to say the least. With 121 severe muscle injuries identified, the researchers were able to analyze video footage of 85% of these instances. The injuries were spread across the lower limb, with the majority being hamstring injuries, followed by calf, adductor, and quadriceps muscle injuries. Perhaps one of the most striking findings was the fact that nearly 2/3 of these injuries were on the dominant or kicking leg. This dispels the common assumption that the non-dominant leg is more prone to injury due to lack of use. It appears that the sheer force and frequency of use of the dominant leg in a high-intensity sport such as football puts it at a higher risk of injury. Even more startling was the fact that a whopping 83% of these injuries were non-contact. This challenges the common perception of football as a contact sport leading to injuries. It turns out that the vast majority of severe muscle injuries in football are not due to direct clashes with other players, but rather the result of the player's own movements and actions. But what were these actions? The study identified 4 main situational patterns that accounted for a staggering 88% of injuries. These were running or acceleration, closed kinetic chain stretching, open kinetic chain stretching, and kicking. Running or acceleration, the most common action leading to injury, involves a sudden increase in speed or change in direction. Closed and open kinetic chain stretching, on the other hand, are movements where the foot is either fixed and the body moves, or the body is fixed and the foot moves. And of course, kicking, the very essence of football, also made it to the list. Interestingly, a clear majority of injuries occurred in the first half of the match. This indicates that fatigue, often thought to be a major contributor to injuries, might not be as significant as previously believed. The results reveal a pattern, but what does it all mean? Let's break it down. The findings of the study paint a clear picture of the common causes of severe muscle injuries in football. Our study shows that most of these injuries were non-contact, occurring during running, stretching, or kicking activities. This implies that it's not necessarily the rough and tumble of the game that causes the most damage, but rather the physical exertion of the players themselves. Interestingly, these injuries tend to occur more frequently during the first half of the match, suggesting that fatigue may not be the main factor. Instead, these injuries could be a result of players pushing their bodies too hard too soon. The implications of these findings are significant. Coaches and medical staff should consider these factors when designing training programs and prevention strategies. By taking into account the common mechanisms and situational patterns of these injuries, we can better protect our athletes from severe muscle damage. Understanding the science behind these injuries can help us prevent them and keep our athletes on the pitch, where they belong. And there you have it, a glimpse into the intricate world of severe lower limb muscle injuries in professional football. If you found this analysis intriguing, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay tuned to Sports Science updates for the latest in sports science research.